This is the Unix crew, where we have a regular sit-down conversation with people. This is Alex, Jesse from the Linux Tube. It's good to have you boys on. And
what's up, guys?
yeah, we've been talking actually for like what? When did we have our
An
first
hour?
like call? Well, I mean, yeah, we have been talking for forever today.
Yeah. You mean our first talk?
Well, yeah, like when did we first get on
Alex,
Discord?
Yeah, Alex, you two had a head start. I joined in Saturday or Sunday for me.
Yeah, I would say it's been for the last week for sure. But
Yeah.
Zany and I talked before that on Discord before. I can't. He's invited me to go play Zero AD with him so many times, and I've not gone. And then I feel bad about it. You know what I'm saying? But I just get busy at night. From working a full-time job to coming home and doing stuff for the channel. So,
Look,
but he's been talking to me for a long time.
Just in case anyone needs proof that I like you, Alex, I could go back into my chats and go back through and show people just how many times I've invited you to play Zero AD with us. It's like,
yes, this is true.
So many times.
Yeah.
It is true. It is so true. And like I said, I feel so bad. By the way, I'm in the Philippines right now. So if you hear a chicken in the background, that's just the way of life over here, man. Island life at its best, right?
I don't think anyone cares. As long as it's not an iPhone ding going off, no one will care, because the iPhone dings are the ones that get people. That's the one where every time in a video it happens, I'm like, oh shit.
Where is your Android? Shit.
Yeah.
Well, the best part about Android, though, is you don't have that problem. With iPhone, anytime someone gets a text message, you're like, I just got a text message. It's like, no, you didn't, brother. You're fine.
Yeah. But no, yeah, we've been talking for a long time, actually. And, I'm excited to do things with you. You're one of the YouTubers that I really, I watch a lot of them. They're in some up and coming things. It's going to be apparent, but we definitely talk a lot.
Yeah.
How long did we spend talking the other day this weekend? I want to say it was 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Just before I dipped out. How long did you guys go after that?
Oh, probably like what, another
about another hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say an hour.
Yeah, we had such a good conversation. I completely lost track of time.
Yeah, I think I messed you up, because the best part about that was y'all had just finished the podcast. So you guys have already been sitting down talking for a while. We sat down and we were going to talk for a bit, and 4 hours later,
we were bordering on another ice age coming by the time I left.
Yeah,
and the sad part is when we ended, we could have kept talking for a while. Like,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, but it's because we talk about good stuff.
Absolutely,
we're not boring people. We're not boring people, and we're all approachable. We can all talk, whether it's to our Discord or whatever, we're ready to go.
Yeah. And I think
I spent time.
Go ahead.
I spent time today while I was working on some of my client stuff. I was lurking on your stream a couple times today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The wildest part about that stream earlier today was how, like, I did spend a lot of time with like Waybar, but I honestly thought I was going to have a lot of issues with the stream, having to like shut down, like with the video production side of things, with changing configs and stuff. I'm
surprised that it kept going.
Yeah, it worked perfectly fine. I did not expect that at all. I genuinely expected OBS to have some kind of issue, Pipewire to develop some kind of issue, me needing to change something.
And she was on a Linux box? Come on.
Well,
and so I was getting ready to say, and you actually have video recorded evidence that sometimes, very rarely, once in a blue moon, Linux actually works right.
Yeah. And
no issues.
My rice went smooth as could be. I can't complain about my rice in the slightest. My rice turned out way better than I thought it was going to.
Those margins were pixel perfect.
I thought we weren't supposed to call it that anymore.
Your rice?
Yeah,
dude.
Are we in the verge? Remember, I'm boomer. I don't keep up with these trends.
Look,
but like,
if kids are trying to get us in trouble for calling a rice system or ricing, bullying them is fine. Like, at least in my opinion, because that is ridiculous. That is the most like dumb argument ever. It's a rice. We've called it rices for years. No one's had problems with it.
That's all I've ever known it as, is calling it
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
I don't even. Yeah, I've heard the term. I'm not even super familiar with it. I know it exists.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, it's like,
but I've been doing it long enough that before that was thrown around, people just called it theming.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, if you have a problem with calling something a rice, just you call it something else. Like, there's not a reason to change everyone else's speech. And also, like, the idea that it's going to offend someone is like, I mean, sure, if they read it completely out of context and have a low IQ, yes, that could offend them. But should we be like putting cautionary cones around words for no reason? Like, why? Like, it's a Unix rice. Everyone knows what that means. It has no other meaning other than it's a cool looking desktop. Like that's
exactly.
it. Like,
speaking of which, go ahead, finish.
Oh,
go ahead, finish.
The only thing I was going to say was there's it's an easy way of distinguishing like what type of theming you're going to find. Because like if you search like Hyprland theme, you're going to get literally Hyprland themes like that are just for the config file. If you search a Hyprland rice, you'll get Hyprland themed, Waybar themed, like, you know, all the programs that you might have with it, and all of those matching in the same style. Like that.
So
yeah, go ahead.
The difference between a KDE theme and a global theme.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
cool. So what I was going to ask you is Waybar. It's funny, because I've often wondered. I've not played with it. I just recently installed Zero Linux because it comes with Wayland, and it's already themed as well. But I've been looking at Waybar, because I don't know why I got interested in it the other day, but I was looking at it. So how do you like Waybar as compared to like Polybar?
Polybar and Waybar for me, it's been a long time since I've used Polybar, but from what I remember, the configuration is pretty similar. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Polybar use CSS as well for its theming?
Yes, I think, yes.
I think it does. If it uses CSS for its theming and its config is as similar as to what I'm thinking about, they're pretty much the same. Like, I mean, I even believe that the config file for Polybar is JSON as well. I think so. I mean, I think they're extremely similar. As far as I know, Waybar may just be a Polybar like fork or re-implementation for Wayland.
All right.
It's to me like I've tried looking at other bars, and that's the really hard part when someone asks me how do I like Waybar, because I would probably say that I like widgets better because you can make a bar with that. You can make a ton of different stuff with it. I would probably like that better, but the learning curve of getting there and also the configuration time that's required because everything has to be like a script that you do yourself. Like it's much more complex for setting up. So for that, I would probably say I'd like that more, but I can't get to it yet. So if someone wants a bar that is simple and they're going to use Wayland, Waybar is probably the only thing that you should choose, because the only thing that's going to take really long is ricing it, like theming it. That's it.
Even like, well, the two that I keep hearing all the time is Swaybar and Waybar, right? And the Swaybar is the one that comes in Sway, right?
Yep.
Which one comes in River?
Isn't that? I don't know if I've never used River, so I don't know if it comes with a bar, but if it does, it's probably just built into its window manager. Oh, okay. So Josh said River doesn't have a bar in chat. By the way, for anyone who's watching the recorded version of this, the live version, from now on, the Unix crew will be recorded live. But after we're done with the live stream, it will be unlisted for patrons only. If you're interested in, watching it after the fact, the live stream that is, definitely check out my Patreon. But one of the things I do want to mention too is we don't have a schedule for this. So if you want to catch the live streams, the best place to find out when it's going live before every time I go live 20-30 minutes beforehand, there'll be a notification up on Mastodon and Discord, as long as I remember to add everyone on Discord next time. My bad. But yeah, so just go on Discord or Mastodon, you'll get notified. So, and I have completely derailed and forgot where we were.
That's
we were
okay.
talking about
I think
the
we'll
bars.
live.
Oh yeah,
The
bars.
bars for Wayland.
Bars. Yeah. So River doesn't have a bar, but to be honest, like if you've got the time for configuration and you really want to do something cool, I don't think there's anything better than EWW or bar, but that uses yuck. So that's like a whole nother programming language that you got to like
language. Yep.
Yeah, you got to find out how that works, and then you're going to have to write bash scripts or just scripts in general for like actual widgets on the bar, like the functionality of the widgets, all that stuff. And I don't think that's very practical for most people, but if you can do that, then that's pretty damn good. Like you'll end up with a system. Man, I've seen some systems that look incredible. I gotta agree. I've seen over on like Unix porn and stuff like that, some of the systems that they've set up, and you're like, what in
They're
the hell?
fantastic.
They are. They're like, it's like, wow. I mean, like, it has taken Linux to a whole new sexy level for sure.
Oh yeah,
because
I feel left out because I'm on Nvidia, so I don't think I get to enjoy any of this goodness.
Well,
not yet. You
can. The only thing that I'll say is if you want to go Wayland and you have an Nvidia card, everyone's got different experiences and it depends on which Nvidia cards you have. But the best chance of having a really good experience is going Hyprland, and you want to go on Arch, and then you want to get the Git version of it. If you go to the Hyprland wiki, they tell you Arch provides in their own packages the Hyprland, but that's the release package. I
remember some of that when way back when I was on 0 Bytes. We interviewed Voxry and he had mentioned it, but he's like, I'm not touching it. Yep. He wasn't touching it. People don't want to support it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where in the Hyprland documentation, he covers there's a shit ton of environment variables that you have to configure just for NVIDIA systems alone. And that's not a Hyprland problem. Like that is a Wayland and NVIDIA issue. NVIDIA just put out a driver update that like not too long ago that should have improved a lot of Wayland problems. But if you get the Hyprland-Git package and that doesn't work, they have a Hyprland-NVIDIA package that is supposedly done. I don't know, it's doing something different for NVIDIA. So you can try that one too. And most people I know who do have NVIDIA graphics cards have had plenty of success with that. Now I have lucked out. Like I'm using NVIDIA Prime on my Intel laptop with an NVIDIA card, and Hyprland works just fine with using the Intel card for Hyprland and most of the stuff. And then when I want to run a desktop application, NVIDIA or like Prime-Run, like whatever it is, then the application works just fine, like no problems. So yeah, it's one of those things, and I'm also using the regular Hyprland package because I wanted to see if it worked. So I'm not even using the like latest from source stuff. I'm using a stable release of Hyprland. So it's very iffy.
Interesting.
But yeah.
One last question about it, and the big reason I won't even try Wayland is because everybody's still talking about this. You have no Chromium embedded framework, which means if you're a streamer like me, you've got no docs. You've got the browser support is there, but you have no docs. How do you get around that?
What do you mean by docs?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Like your chat doc in OBS and your pre-stream docs and stuff and your information. Do you not use those?
Like, are you talking about like when you can connect your YouTube account? I honestly, no, I don't use any of that. I have at times, but I normally just put my stream key in. I
Well,
I
yeah,
record
that
in
works,
OBS.
but you don't get the
To
chat
manage the
pulled in.
broadcast, yeah, or you can't pull the chat into OBS.
Well, but my thing is I keep a YouTube window open. So like on my ultra wide
Okay.
monitor right now, I've got
It's
uh
funny, but whenever I'm driving the stream, that's exactly what I do too. I don't use the dock, the chat dock. I pop out the chat and I keep a YouTube window open in the background.
I
just
don't
mute
even
it.
pop out the chat. I literally on this ultra wide, all I have is OBS and then a YouTube the live streaming like window.
Well, that's cool because so you get to see the whole stream and know if there's an issue. That's
Yep.
great.
If there's any problem, and the reason I like doing that is because if there's a problem on the stream on YouTube side, there's not going to necessarily be a way for me to know that inside of OBS. If that's
Unless
all
you're
I'm
watching
using.
it, yeah.
Exactly.
Which we had that happen. We had that happen 2 podcasts ago where they were something was going on with their stream. It was horrible. Like it was. We were having audio and everything working fine, and then that stream didn't have audio, and it was like glitchy as hell, and like it took forever to actually even post to the website.
That's why I actually
to,
stopped
to come on
using it.
live.
Yeah, because I had that exact issue happen once, and then the next time I streamed, I did with just the stream key, and it was working just fine. Like it had, well, I mean, like it was before with having it connected up too. But ever since then, I haven't had an issue, so I just haven't tried setting it back up. But yeah, that's how I get around it. I also another thing that is good about Hyprland and Wayland for content like creators and especially if you're streaming is global hotkeys work. So like that's a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
Now I've talked about this
smell a
before.
reinstall in my future.
It's good. Do it. Give it a try. The only thing I will say though is, and this is something that you probably won't experience when you're first setting up your global hotkeys, but it's a big thing to keep in mind. Like if you're ever going to have to set your system back up or something like that again, when it comes to Hyprland and global key bindings, when you allocate that key to that program, it is completely allocated to that program. So you won't be able to use that key binding for anything else. Yeah. And so the way OBS works when it's setting key bindings, if you already have the key bindings that you want to use as global key binds in OBS set in the config, it won't be able to detect the keys being pressed when you press them. So you have to, you can't add the global keybinds to your Hyprland config until you've set them up in OBS. Then you can enable them in Hyprland. And it's just the way, like, because it's already being routed to OBS, OBS is looking for the keybind to be pressed globally. So it creates a conflict.
Yeah, I mean, that's, if I'm understanding it correctly, that at least seems logical.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could see
because you're going like bottom up rather than top down.
Exactly. Yeah. But I have seen people complain about it online, like not complaining like as in that the way it works, but complaining that they couldn't press the key bindings in OBS to set their global hotkeys in Hyprland. And I just want to clarify that for anybody who may end up wanting to do it and then can't because they pull down like my config, because I've already got those global hotbinds set for OBS. And if you went into OBS to configure them, you wouldn't be able to, and you'd be like, what the hell's going on? So it's a good thing to tell everybody when they're going to go do Hyprland and they're going to use OBS. Keep that in mind.
Right. So like
how many
use the
key bindings?
config.
How many key bindings do you actually have set up in OBS?
5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I only have like 3. I don't have very many set up in OBS.
Yeah, I mean,
I got pause, unpause, and then switching scene. I think if I want to switch like a scene, I got that.
Well, Jesse, you do Twitch, so do you have like a Stream Deck?
I just put the Stream Deck app on my iPad, and I do own it. And save your flames for later.
No, I used to own the literal Stream Deck. If my dog hadn't have been a puppy for a little bit and decided to eat up $400 worth of my shit, I'd still have it. So,
Oh man,
You gotta
Well,
love when that happens. I had a
man.
massive destroy my couch.
well, yeah. Oh my God, Zany, I don't know if you know about this. Alex, you remember my damn dog jumped out of the second story window and hit the sidewalk 2 weeks ago.
oh my God.
Thought it was Superman.
Like dogs, they do stuff, man.
They
we
really do.
we were out getting groceries, and our neighbor at below us found her rolling on the sidewalk and called us and was like, "We think your dog got hit by a car." And no, she's stupid and she jumped out the window and hit the sidewalk.
That poor dog. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we had to
crazy.
the whole weekend was derailed. The poor thing, she couldn't walk right for a week and a half.
Oh my God.
And we had a podcast to do, and the podcast went off without a hitch. But Jesse, I could tell he was very split in his mind. You know, he was like kind of like off focus the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, as far as like if I was on Twitch, what I was actually thinking about doing if I didn't use the iPad as a glorified Stream Deck, because you can do that with the app or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted
And
to
WebSockets,
see. I wanted to see if I could use my MIDI guitar floor controller to actually do the key presses with my feet.
That's cool.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be sick.
Because I even have, I don't know if either of you guys play, but I have like rocker pedals for like you'd use for volume or wah.
Yeah.
And you can set those to MIDI change commands, and I could turn up the gain or turn down the gain, or if I wanted a gradual sort of turn up or turn down, it would be really cool to use it like that.
That's amazing.
That way my hands are independently, I can do stuff with my hands, my feet, and automation.
That is extremely cool. Like really freaking cool.
I don't know if the function exists, but because I have a MIDI to USB, I think we can make it work.
I am positive that there's somebody in my Discord who's already working on this script just for the clout right now. Do you know how many times I've been like, dude, I wish I could. The amount of times where I've had people in my Discord give me stuff that I've been like, it would be really cool if someone made a script like this, and then they'll just make it. The worst one is when they send me like 6 different links to like scripts for the exact thing that I was asking for. And I'm like, well,
don't
thanks.
Those spin links. Don't do it.
Well, luckily, a lot of them are bash scripts and I can read through them, but I've had quite a few that echo out. Like I've had quite a few scripts that people have given me that where the script echoes out some like questionable things. Like I know I had one, what did it spit out? It echoed out, I know you've always wanted to be with me. And then like at the end of the program, as soon as it did, I can't remember. I think it was like for bulk renaming files, or it was something like that. It was a simple little script. But
so it was legit for a while, and then it just dropped. The chaos.
Like I mean, as soon like after it did like set some variables or whatever, it would echo out, "I know you've always wanted to be with me," and then at the very end when it was done, it would say, "How was it?"
That reminds me of, you remember the chip tunes from Keygens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you always knew if you heard somebody in the library at college or whatever, and that music came up, it's like, you just give them the side eye, like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me that. Whatever it is, I want
my way. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God! Some of those tunes, I'm like, it's like wow, and it would loop and loop and loop and loop.
Oh, so I did want to ask, because I recently, as we talked about earlier, I forgot and then realized I did watch your last video, your OpenSUSE video, which, by the way, the links will be down in the description. And Jesse, if you have any links, I didn't find any on the channel, but if you have any other links that you want me to share, like your Twitch channel, just send them to me. And
sure. I'll drop that in your Discord.
Perfect. And I'll add that into the description. I'll also just post it in chat.
Yeah, for anybody wanting to find me, my handle for pretty much everything is Snack Ops Unit.
So if you watch Twitch, definitely go over there, check them out.
Yeah, thank you for the plug. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh my
What do you want to ask?
I am blanking on it.
About OpenSUSE.
Yes. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, my train of thought is terrible.
I'll keep us on point.
See, I need a manager, man. That's what I need. I need someone to come in and be like, this is what you need to do right now. But so with your OpenSUSE video, are you still using OpenSUSE right now?
I actually, I still have it on my laptop. I have a dual boot. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oof. How are you enjoying it?
Fuck you.
Dude, my favorite part of that video, I was cracking up when you were talking about the package manager Zypper. You were like, dude, when you got onto the parallel download section, I was like, well, I mean, look, I get what he's saying. In the vanilla Arch install, it's also disabled, but that is like I was like, he's hitting just the top surface level right now. Like once you get down into the meat and potatoes of Zypper, you're like, I hate this. This makes no sense.
So what I'm going to tell you is when it comes to OpenSUSE, man, everything else is fine. Zypper is a piece of crap. 100%, dude. I'm sorry, man. There's no love for it. And, you know, Josh always asks me, why do you never say anything bad? One of the reasons why I never say anything bad is because I generally don't find anything that isn't livable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But honest to God, Zypper, I don't know what were they thinking when they made that. Dude, it's a hot fucking mess, dude. Seriously, man. I have no idea. I'm like so freaking confused on it, man. You know, and it's our never mind, man. It's just it's not good, man. If you could get rid of Zypper and just keep everything else, OpenSUSE would be all right. Honest to God.
Yeah. It
literally creates such a negative fucking experience that you're like, I can't stand OpenSUSE.
And then I love that part. I don't know if you transitioned right from Yast to Zypper or from Zypper to Yast, but that was great because it's like, and then Yast, fucking awesome. It's like this, like a Zypper aggravates the hell out of me. Yast, like they should put this on ice cream. Like what? It's so good.
It is, dude. I'm telling you. I think I closed the video out saying that if you're gonna try OpenSUSE, do it for nothing else other than Yast. Just to try Yast, because Yast is such a complete set of tools, you know, that it merits going through that bullshit just to get to try Yast. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So Jesse, have you used OpenSUSE lately?
No, I'm trying to think. There was something I did that was based on it, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, you are having a beautiful life over there, because this guy...
No, look, I keep trying to make, occasionally, including now, I keep trying to make Ubuntu Studio make sense.
Ooh.
It's so close. It really paved the way for other distros to have a studio spin, if you will.
Yes.
And it gets so much right, but it's still Ubuntu package management. So
my only thing with Ubuntu Studio is it's almost perfect. Almost perfect.
But you can't get under the hood enough to make it actually usable in a professional way.
Yep.
Right.
It is one of those things where it is probably the best and most unpolished thing at the same time. Like if it was as polished as it was feature complete, like, I mean, you still, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying it has every feature that you're possibly going to need, but
no, I mean,
for,
OBS is crippled out of the box.
exactly. So
You don't even have browser sources.
exactly. But at the same
You do
time,
that in a studio release.
I love that my one thing that I was going to defend them with was features. It's like, well, shit. But they do one thing correctly. When you get Ubuntu Studio, the things that you would expect as a professional to need are going to be there. The only problem is they're not configured in a way that you're going to be able to start off in. Everything about Ubuntu Studio is like, sure, everything's downloaded and it's there, but none of it's configured properly. I mean,
right. You actually might save time, and I keep finding this. I would rather use, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Oh boy.
I would rather use Arch for features.
okay.
But then it's Arch. And I love it because you can configure everything. You can tweak it. It gets me as close to Gen 2 as I wish to return.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
But then,
I feel that.
But then, it might be Friday and, I'm about to go live on a podcast the next day, and an update is the equivalent of stepping on a landmine. And then it's like, well, fine.
Yep.
Or like trying to play with your latency and Pabu control right before the stream.
Wow. You didn't have to come at me like that.
I don't know. In a Linux
stream for the people.
In a Linux podcast, though, I think that's one of the things you definitely do. That's a blow that you got to go to.
That's exactly.
I mean, looping back now. Josh came at you for saying, are we just going to talk about Linux the whole time and not Unix?
Well, all right, fine. You know what? Since he said that, let's. Excuse me. Wow. All right, this Dr. Pepper getting to me. Okay. Since he said that, let's do this. Have either of you used OpenBSD?
It's been a long time.
Long time. Yeah, a really long time.
It would be unrecognizable to me now.
Pretty much. I'm in the same boat.
Okay. Well, since you both have said no, I'm going to recommend something. The next time that you have $40 burning a hole in your pocket, you don't know what to do with, go out on eBay or Amazon or like wherever and buy you a computer with an Intel Atom that you can get for $40. Because believe me, you can find them. Believe me. Get one of those and then install OpenBSD on it and tell me it's not incredible. Now, look, that computer will still be slow because it's an Intel Atom.
Right.
Like,
I was just saying the processor limits it beyond belief.
Yeah, there's no way around it. But the fact that it will run and still has complete up-to-date software, that little, like I have an Acer Aspire 1 netbook with OpenBSD on it. That's probably my most secure system out there, only because if you think about it, most people couldn't even understand how to use the file, like the file system on that thing. Most people have never even interacted ever in their life with the FFS. And it won't even detect, like if you try to plug up it like a USB drive to it, most people don't understand that thing can't read almost anything you give it. Like almost nothing. I think
that's a little bit of a stretch using the fact that it can't read anything to call it secure. I mean, yes, it is by default. But...
No. Any other type of like file system. Like if you plugged an NTFS for sure.
NTFS, ext4, any of those.
Okay. Detect them. I thought you were saying it's not going to recognize the device, not the file.
Oh,
system.
No.
It'll file systems.
Yeah, the file systems.
It'll recognize the device.
I think.
Yeah, that would have been the laziest path to security you can have. It's so secure because it can't do shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what Terry Davis did with Temple OS. He was like the internet's unsecure, so you just don't get any internet. It's like well, wait, brother. Like, I mean, that's one way of being more secure. Like, okay.
But no, when I used BSD the last time I used it, the issue was that they didn't have a lot of the applications that I needed or wanted to use.
Yes, that will be one of the, especially on the creator side, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Try like OpenBSD. If you go back on my channel, there's a time period where I was using OpenBSD, doing videos on it. FFmpeg recording only. You tried doing.
That's what I was gonna say. It was FFmpeg only. Yeah.
Yeah. You tried doing an FFmpeg live stream to YouTube. That shit's not.
Dude, I almost spit my water out.
It is rough. It is real hard.
I can't imagine that. And I'm not sadomasochist enough to put myself to that kind of torture, man. I've been like, I'm out. Deuces.
You can go on my channel and find live streams that I did that were like really long live streams of me like working on the script for live streaming. Like, like I did live streams where I'm trying to improve the script, and it is rough. It is. I gotta be honest. Anyone who has ever done an FFmpeg like run at a live stream can tell you it is the longest. It is probably the longest Linux command you will ever run in your entire life. I mean, mine was like, it's a single FFmpeg line that's like this long, and I'm creating variables above it before I launch it in the script.
How many concatenated like little subcommands are buried in there?
I think in the mine for my live stream is probably around 12, maybe more.
Wow. Like, yeah. Yeah, that was, to me, that was the biggest problem with BSD was that, you know, is that it, for me, you would have to be a person who enjoys spending their life living in the terminal, being non-efficient. To me, it's not efficient. Now, I have one of my admins in my Discord, Izzy, who is like the king of freaking BSD. And he goes by AP Izzy, and I'm here to tell you, man, that guy can answer any and every question you want about freaking BSD, and he's just a plethora. He's like the BSD Josh. He's like the Josh of BSD.
Oh, perfect.
You know what I mean?
BSD needs a Josh.
Yeah, that's him. That's literally him. And you know, I've learned so much from him to the point that it's been like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, but to me, BSD is not really something that people can just pick up and start driving, you know, not like Linux.
Yeah. And I remember I got into it because, you know, I started playing with Linux 25 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, we're talking about that the other day, and I think you were like 14 or something like that, weren't you?
No, I'm a little older than.
No, sorry, 20. You were 20 something. Yeah, you were 20 something too. Yeah. That's right.
And I remember I got into BSD for like 5 minutes because I thought it would be like using the terminal on my Mac, because I used to work for Apple.
Yeah.
And working for them made me not like them.
Yeah.
Working for Apple introduced me to somebody who gave me Gentoo as my first distro.
Oh my God.
What?
Look, I saw the cool screenshots on the page way back when of like all the cool things when, you know, the dock was a Mac only thing and Gentoo was showing screenshots of people with docks. And I'm like, oh, I never got there.
I was going to ask, like, what did you do to make this person hate you so much? Like,
no,
Gentoo?
I thought they were being my friend. And would you guys fault me if I said that, you know, Gentoo made me like Naruto run into the arms of Ubuntu?
I couldn't imagine that, dude.
It's like, oh, I can do things. Kinda.
But in a way, actually, he was your friend because he gave you your first taste of Linux, and 20 years later, you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still here. So,
well,
I mean, that is
Don't give
That
him.
is not that is not your normal Gentoo or your normal intro to Linux. That is not.
Well, don't give the guy too much credit.
Dude, I was reinstalling like every weekend, and I kept doing like harder and harder methods. I would go from like the live CD install, and eventually I broke it so many times that I was like, well, I might as well learn stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I would spend entire weekends, with a couple of beers on the desk, running through kernel modules in the terminal. I wasn't doing it GUI. I was trying to like do the damn thing.
Living life on hard mode.
Don't drink and compile, guys. Don't do it.
Holy dude, it is a miracle you stayed with Linux. Like, this dude set you up to be like, I don't know why in the anybody would ever use this OS.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he knew the right person to give it to.
That's how I feel about Zorin. Is I don't know why anybody would use this.
As somebody who I used to install Zorin on church members' computers.
Okay, I would do it there. I would absolutely do it there. I'm the IT director for my church, and I have to retract just enough of that statement to say yes, I might use it in a church.
Yeah, I mean, I never installed because I don't trust Zorin as a company to like be the most like I didn't
reputable
at the time I was installing Zorin. I didn't know much about them as a company. I don't think there's anything wrong with Zorin OS as a company, as far as I know. I haven't researched them, but because I didn't research them pretty much at all, I just knew they had a very Windows-esque type style, and they allowed you to switch it. So I had a lot of
switcher, that to me is the joke of it all.
The layout switcher.
Yeah, their layout switcher
has
because
the same thing.
No kidding.
I'm pretty sure it's the same tool.
The joke for me is that they give you 4 for free, and then you get the Pro, and all you get for the Pro is you get like 16 more or 8 more layouts that you can switch for.
Yeah.
It's like give me a little more than just that. You know what I mean?
The sad part is like when it comes to now, this is totally going to skew the conversation a different direction, but the sad part about the Linux ecosystem is when it comes to Zorin OS projects like this, it's really hard to find anything other than support to monetize. It's extremely hard. And the thing is that if you're only offering support, most people with Linux are not going to pay for it because, I mean, why would you pay for support when other people on Stack Exchange, Reddit, and anywhere else are going to help you? Like, why the fuck would you pay for it? It's stupid.
I remember paying for EOS.
Oh yes, I don't know that I actually paid for Elementary OS. I know I bought Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie was my favorite. That was a beautiful application.
The only one that I've ever paid for is actually Euro Linux, and their support was actually I didn't need the support, but I just paid for it because I wanted to donate, and their distribution is well done. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, Euro Linux, and I think they're out of Germany.
Okay.
I can't remember the country. It's one of those countries over there. But anyhow, I paid for their support. I think it cost all of like $9. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
$9. Yeah. So it was dirt cheap. And I wanted to test it because historically, every time I've ever heard anybody talking about support and support issues with getting support for Linux is that you would ask a question and maybe a month later you would hear something about it. I tested Euro Linux because they seemed pretty well put together, streamlined on their webpage. You can initiate the support tickets, all that kind of crap. And literally, I think an hour went by. And actually, I think it was mainly because of the time difference between where I was in the U.S. and where they are in European time, that there was an hour difference, and I got instant reply. It was pretty dope. Yeah, it was pretty dope, man. I was like, oh. In fact, I still have their. I think I still have their support. I think it just renewed, and I don't even use it. I need to double check on that.
Well, I mean, at least you're helping them out. Like to me, like the hardest thing with supporting Linux projects is is finding the Linux projects out there that are smart enough to have a renewal service when you want to give them money. Like a monthly donation system. So many, I mean, Linux distros and projects nowadays, or, open source Unix projects have gotten much better about actually like doing monthly donations and having that set up. But dude, for the longest time, if you wanted to give a project money, like if you wanted to throw a project money, it was $5 once and that's all they did. Like they didn't have anything for a monthly thing. And like, if you wanted to, like my thing was, is I used to give money quite often to GIMP. And I think GIMP now does like monthly donations that you can do, but it's been a while. Like I don't know how long they've been doing it for. It's probably been a few years now. But before that, like, nope, you gave them a one-time donation, which is, I mean, most people are going to do that. Like that's what most people are going to do, but there's plenty of us out there that would give you $5 a month, but just can't remember to do it. Like we just can't.
It's really funny because my channel only has one Patreon, one Buy Me a Coffee guy, and 4 actual subscribers that do the monthly. What is it, $1.99 or buck, whatever it is, to be a member of the channel.
Didn't we pick up a Matrix sub?
Well, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know where that's at. I know that he asked me to put a matrix together, and that he would be a sub for sure. But it's very rare that people do the reoccurring thing. Like we'll get the super chats on occasion. The super thanks on a video, which a lot of people didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, that's fairly new as far as monetization goes.
Yeah, so I mean, you can actually do the thanks on there and just give a one-time donation. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I think a lot of people just tend to forget, to do that. Yeah. I generally think they do want to support, and that's why they subscribe. To me,
I don't think people think they can do a whole lot. Like, we need to make it easier for people to support us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's been Matt's biggest problem with the store. I mean, back when his store was with mine, and we both did it together too. I remember there would be like 3 weeks where we wouldn't even mention the store during the podcast. And then, and then the next week we were going to just skip over it again, but then someone in chat would mention the store while we were doing the links, and we pimp it out. Then
if you watch my early videos, I actually had a store. It was the linuxtube.shop. I took it down since then because I think I made one coffee cup sale. Yeah. Coffee mug sale. I mean, it's just, and even the banner that I put in there to make it, to come up on screen, to advertise it was still, I guess annoying at best. I got complaints about it,
Yeah.
So I minimized it, brought it down. And even that, I still didn't generate, it's just that, I guess on those kind of things, people just don't really care as much as they would like to just give like the one-time donation, I guess, or whatever.
The hard part is finding, like now, just so you guys know, because I'm setting this up right now. I'm actually probably going to do it tonight. I'm doing Fourth Wall, which is a store service, kind of like Teespring, all those different kind of services.
Yeah.
But Fourth Wall actually hooks up to your YouTube, so it can all of your merch. Like when you go to YouTube videos and they have the merch underneath.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fourth Wall hooks up, does all that. So all your merch products.
That's on our thing.
It is?
YouTube. I linked I linked Teespring to it, I think.
Oh, okay. I've been using Teespring.
And it was showing, and it showed all, like the t-shirts, the hoodies, the cups. I even made bullshit face masks that had the Linux Tube logo on it.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually kind of upset because I have Teespring and I didn't even know that was a thing, and I've had it hooked up to my YouTube channel, and I don't know why it's not doing it. Whatever,
Yeah, I know we were thinking about exploring the store side of Stream Elements because I knew them from Twitchland, and I was showing Alex all the things you can do with that, and now they have se.merch. So you can pull in from there if you want to simplify it. But it sounds like you might have a better setup with Fourth Wall.
Fourth Wall is really nice. And the reason I'll recommend them is because that's what Matt has started using. And if you want to sell stuff like desk mats and stuff like that, which those are hot items. Like if you sell desk mats in the Linux computer space, like those things, like the profit margin on them it's not like insane. It's decent. It's not
most
bad.
of the print on demands, the profit margins are razor thin.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what my thing was. The profit margins were, you would have to sell, I think on the coffee mug, I think I had to sell probably right around 30 units to actually make a decent kind of profit.
Yeah. For me, I know on Teespring, I think like my hoodies were the things that had the best profit margin. And I think if you bought a hoodie for $40, I got like $12, 12 something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty razor thin. But desk mats, he's got a big desk mat that's $40, like the full like desk mat. That one's $40 on there. That's not bad because it's not a small it's for your desk. It's big. It's a big desk mat, and he's got it. Fourth wall also, if you hook it up, I can't remember what it is, but you got to hook up and do something, and they give you $15 for free for ordering products. So
so you can send out like samples to people and stuff like that.
Exactly, or to yourself, so you can test and see the quality of their products.
The quality of it,
and you only get charged at the cost to you if you order samples. So,
wait, Matt sells pillows. Josh is saying in chat.
He's got some.
I had that on my Teespring. I even had curtains on my Teespring. I had curtains, black curtains with the Linux Tube penguin and logo on it.
Okay.
I actually sold a pillow on Teespring. Buddy fucked it up. I've got it around here. Pretty much the only stuff that I sold on Teespring was the stuff that my family bought. It's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like my family bought stuff because they knew I had told them I'd made a store. So my mom was like, all right, I guess sometime in that day, she went on my store, like my YouTube channel, found the store, and then ordered a whole bunch of it because she's like, we need to see if it's good or not. So like my sister has all of the stuff, like cups and stuff that she ordered. So like it's weird as hell, dude. I'll go into my sister's house and somebody will be, the weirdest day I ever had was I walked into my sister's house and her best friend was sipping coffee with my face on the mug. I was like, what is this? Like, this is so weird.
So you got, going back to earlier, you got recognized in the real world again.
Oh, yeah.
By way of looking at your own face.
Yeah, it's not fine. It's not okay.
How cringy, like, was that moment? Like,
Very.
Were you proud or were you cringy, or was it a weird mix of both?
No, I wasn't proud at all. I was very it was cringy as shit. Like I was like, no, this shouldn't be a thing. Like if someone's gonna, I think it's cool if someone that like I don't live with or used to live with like buys something from me, is like, this is cool. Like I want to support you. This is nice. Like that's cool. But like when I'm there, like it's kind of like walking into your own birthday party where instead of like happy birthday pictures are up everywhere, like they just have like pictures of your face. Like
I've had that done to me on my birthday.
See, that's weird. Like that's like to me, I can't, like, you can't respond positively to that because that is probably the most egotistical thing you could ever do, is walk into a room where your face is plastered everywhere and be like, this is great. Like, this is
but if
awesome.
you don't like it, then you're ungrateful. So you just
exactly. So you can't be like, oh, this is wrong. Like, stop.
Yeah. Well, the weirdest thing that ever happened to me in that vein was, well, first off, I walked into Subway and the lady's like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, what? And this is my hometown, and I'm like, okay. And I said, I've never met you, lady. I don't know who you are. I'm not trying to get in trouble here. I almost felt like I was on some kind of prank video. Like, am I getting set up for something?
Looking for the camera, like.
Yeah, I'm looking for the camera. She's like, no, I swear to God, I know you. She stopped making my sub. She was so like, I know you from somewhere. I'm like, I don't know. And I said, I really don't know you. Maybe you see my picture somewhere. She says, yeah. Do you do videos? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm the Linux. It's the Linux Tube. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, wow. It was like wild. And then the other time that happened is at my job. A couple of my guys knew that I was working, and so on YouTube. And so what they do is like, because they'll like work a saw, and when it's cutting metal, it's really slow and stuff. So it's not uncommon anymore for me to walk up to one of the cats to talk about something, and they'll have my video. They're watching my video on their phone while they're cutting things, and they don't know crap. And these guys, they don't know crap about computers. And I'm like, you're solidly watching this just because you know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even know how to turn on a computer. Their freaking console is automated. The saws are automated with the computer, and they won't even use the console to cut the shit. They'll do it all on manual cut because they don't know how to use a computer. So I know for a fact they don't know crap about computers. They're only watching because they just know who I am.
That's what I'm nervous about. Like now, it's because I know some of my coworkers know about my channel. I'm just waiting for the day when I come into work and someone walks in and be like, dude, that last video you posted, pretty shit, dude. You could have done better on that one. Like as soon as that happens, I'm like, maybe it's time for me to consider a new job. Like,
just
like I just came in here to work with you, not to get like a review on my channel. Like,
right. Nope. Just gotta change towns, change your name, new haircut, just start over. And then you lose all your subscribers, so screw it.
No, but that is a very weird, like you said, man. You don't know if you should be like, yeah, that's me, or hi.
Well, it's kind of like,
I'm gonna go now.
Both are wrong. Like to me, like both seem wrong. To be like really happy and prideful over your YouTube channel, no matter how successful it is, seems like weird and like not okay. And then like being really awkward and like trying to be like, no, that's not me at all costs is also not right and weird. So like you just have to be in this awkward scenario where no answer you give is correct other than just like, can I get my sub now? Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, can we have the transactional relationship we had before?
Exactly. Can you treat me like just a normal person? Like that would be great.
And in that scenario, actually, what was kind of funny is I wound up getting like 4 subs then, because she made such a big deal over it that her coworker said, "What? There's a YouTuber," and then they went in and saw it. Oh yeah, boom, and they're all subscribed at the same time.
Yep. Well, I don't know. That's all well and good, but I'm just, to me, like the worst part would be having your coworkers, like, because like for me, like I'm working like grocery store, like people come in, like lots of people. The worst one for me is if like, one of my coworkers starts pimping out my channel to just people that are coming in to get groceries. Like that's the one that scares me. Like being like, just so you know, a YouTuber works here. Here's his channel name. Go check him out. Like that shit scares me. Cause like, I know some people think it's really cool when you do YouTube and want to help you out at every cost, but like some people don't have the like, and I'm not saying that anyone at my job, I'm worried about doing this, but like, that's one of the things that scares me. Cause then like, then you get known as the dude who's like trying to have everyone pander you
for
out.
Subs.
Yeah. So
yeah, it is a weird concept, but in the end, that's the one thing that we all have to really remember. We're on the largest video streaming platform out there, and we're very active on it, and we are all actually like the faces of Linux. If Linux had a face.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying? I guarantee you people.
Are you starting us down this hill? Are we going to do it?
I think so. We're going to do it. We're going to send it, boys. Let's do it.
Say the things?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Send it.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So before we go into too much in depth, okay, let's try to keep it surface level. And then we're going to say we're going to end the podcast. Just so you guys know, when we do get to the part where we're saying we're ending the podcast, that's the recorded version. The live will continue just for patrons only. We got some more interesting things to talk about. So, again, for anybody who's watching this recorded afterwards on YouTube, if you do want to see the full live version, it's over on Patreon. So go over there if you want it. This is probably the first time I have something to like actually market my Patreon with.
Boy,
So-
do you.
And boy, do you. And I'm going to tell you right now, coming at you straight out the gate, man, you have a lot to market there right now for the live part that's going to happen afterwards.
Yeah,
the stuff that we're going to talk about is
You
absolutely
see.
mind-blowing.
I don't want to like give away too much, but
No.
I do have to say, if you're not a Patreon member and not going to see the full live version or not watching the live stream as it's literally happening, we've been talking about some big shit, like big stuff. We've already got something booked and like scheduled that's really big. Also, like I got to be honest about, like, I don't know. I don't think anyone who's involved and knows about this could possibly not be excited. Like very excited about it.
Big
Like,
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's real. It is genuinely really big. It's very big.
Yeah, we're not hyping anything up. In fact,
Yes, we are. That is exactly what we're doing.
well, no, we are hyping it up. But what I came across, because it was an idea I had, and I never thought that me being the size of my channel could ever even make this kind of happen. You know what I'm saying? Let alone get the actual response that we got for this, man. It's just mind blowing.
Oh yeah,
to me.
I did not. How can I say this and just keep it as a tease for now? I did not expect a 100%
Clean sweep.
Acceptance rate.
Just that was I forgot the word acceptance. That cupcake was good.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm right there with you 90% of the time. That's that's that 10% of the time right there where I actually remembered a word.
Yeah, I'm like, what word am I thinking? And it's because I hate the words acceptance rate together from being a DoorDash driver. I derail the Have you ever driven for them?
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hate those words.
Yep.
So,
My brain blocked out the word acceptance if rate was next.
genuinely what I think created that acceptance rate was the actual beneficial part of actually planning ahead.
Yes. Well, because again, we're not, I don't think we're giving too much away by saying this, but getting people together like that, to be available at any time, like doesn't matter when it is throughout the year.
Just the fact that we're trying it.
Well, I mean, that's also another thing. The fact that you have hit up as many people as you have, it's impressive. Like, because most people just wouldn't want to do it. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of the fact I didn't even think of this as an idea. It's a fucking great idea. It's a great idea, dude. Like, and I mean, we've talked about this multiple times, but the group that we're in, the Linux space, is probably the only niche where you could do this, and almost everyone you talk to be like, yeah, I can make it work.
Yeah.
Like that's there's not, like, I mean, if you were in the gaming niche trying to get like more than 4 people together for a game, I mean, anybody who's ever done any type of gaming knows getting 4 people together for 2 hours to play a game could not be any more difficult. So getting more people than that together, that's a big ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We shot for the moon.
I figured in fact, I remember in the production meeting because we hold production meetings for stuff. When I first talked to Jesse, when he was coming on board the channel to do the podcast, I said, eventually it'd be nice to have guests on and stuff like that. And I said,
and now that's a regular thing for us.
Yeah. I remember telling him that if we shoot for the moon and only get a few stars, we'll at least still have won. You know what I mean? We'll still have done well. And this time it was big. I did not, like you said, I did not expect that kind of acceptance rate. In fact, I was humbled that people even knew who the hell I was. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I was floored because I was recruited by you.
Yeah.
You sought me out. So I was like,
Yeah.
why does this guy know who I am? Why does he care?
Well, I mean, that's kind of like with me and Matt, like, except in the exact opposite, like where he was kind of reaching out, but not to me. He was reaching out to everyone, just if anybody wanted to do a podcast. And I'm like, oh man, I'm really small, like, especially compared to Matt's channel. Like, I mean, my content's not nearly as, I wouldn't say polished, because like me and Matt's content are like probably on the same level of polish, but his is much more straight to the point. Mine's more, let's have a good time. Probably there's going to be a few jokes and the timing's not going to be great, but you know, like we get through it. Like my videos are decent,
Right.
like, you know, but they're not straight to the point. And normally Matt's are very informative. Like Matt's are compared to mine, Matt's are dives much deeper into stuff than I do. So I was very surprised when like literally right after messaging him, he was like, sure thing. Like yeah, let's talk. Like, I was like, oh, okay, all right. This is weird. But that's the response that I've gotten from pretty much everybody in the Linux space.
It's such a welcoming space.
Yes. And
unless you're asking installation questions on the Gentoo forums. And then it is not a welcoming space.
Well, asking installation questions on Gentoo will normally result in not very happy people coming back to you, being like, I did this myself. It was painful.
In the dark. With one hand tied behind my back. I had been dehydrated for 3 days.
I didn't even eat until I was victorious in my install.
Like, well, dude, you definitely have those people who are like, you shouldn't even be able to leave your Gentoo install until you have a browser fully compiled. It's like, well, come on, dude. Some people got to pee, you know? Like that's a thing.
Exactly. Catheter, use a catheter, damn it.
Yeah. How do you do a first complete Gentoo install unless you're on vacation from work?
Oh, you don't. You fail. That's exactly what happens. But when it comes to like the Linux space and like getting people, pretty much, I've talked about this quite a bit, but the only issue that you'll ever run into with people like not being able to do stuff or like can't, like just flat out like will say no to something is two things. One, the time frame that you're asking for, they're just too busy with life. Like that's normally it. And that one, if that's a problem, they'll always be ready and like willing to reschedule. Two, the only other problem and the only other thing is if you ask someone to do something on a regular schedule. If you ask someone to do that, it can be really hard. They will most of the YouTubers that I've talked to will try to work with you to find out like a schedule that they can like stick to, but even then it can be difficult. And that's one of those things with like YouTubers. I understand if you're just coming up in YouTube and you're grinding out like a ton and you don't have a very intense job on top of that. I understand like that people being unable and unwilling to like do something on a schedule. I could see that being like, well, how do you not have time for that? But dude, if you're doing YouTube on the scale that most of us are, where you're putting out either a video a day, a video every other day, like at the very least something weekly, and normally the people who only put out something weekly, it's long form content and normally pretty well edited. Like it's that stuff takes a long time. And if you've got a full-time job, like some of us have kids, like kids, a full-time job, and you're doing YouTube on the side, like
you don't have that time.
Exactly. Like you can't agree to that because you'll let them down. Like there's
like your video that you put out just on editing alone, man, that could be a 2 to 3 hour process. Yep. You know, just on it, and that's a small video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's
let alone like a half hour, 20-minute video. That's a lot longer.
Oh yeah,
and all that assumes like editing a YouTube video on average can take anywhere from like not recording, just editing and then publishing it on YouTube can take anywhere from 4 like, or anywhere from like an hour to like 4 hours. And that's assuming
Yeah.
you don't have any issues like me, like where like Caden Live glitches out and I have an invisible track. So the render takes 2.5, 3 fucking hours. And then I fix it and then it renders out in 5 minutes. That's like, I mean, that's hours of life gone that like I'll never get back.
Right. And you initially mentioned editing, and I didn't know whether or not you were considering rendering a separate step, and a lot of us do. Because you've got recording, then you've got editing, then you've got rendering.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like some people make the argument, well, I mean, you can go and do other stuff while that render is happening. It's like, yeah, you can, but not YouTube related. Like, I mean, the only other thing you can do is work on a net.
Your computer's literally taken up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're on a separate PC. Yeah. Your computer's literally taken up.
Yeah. And
you know, I mean, that's I like to this day, you know, that grind, you were talking about that grind to monetization. That's literally an unbearable grind. I'm telling you that right now, because you got to do the complete YouTube algorithm game. You got to create videos that are actually appealing to people. And you got to, at the time when you first started this, you don't know how to really edit your own crap, and you don't have money to pay for somebody to edit. So you're still learning on the fly, dude. That's a solid grind. And I was working a full-time job doing 3 videos a week just to keep up in the damn algorithm.
Oof. Wow. Yeah, that's rough. But see, like even more than that, when you're first starting out, one of the first things that people don't understand is like, most people have never tried to record a video of themselves ever talking. Try listening to yourself for 10 minutes over and over again while you're editing and cutting out like ums and ahs. And tell me when you first start out that doesn't make you the most self-conscious you've ever been in your entire life. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's one of those things. And some people can't even stand listening to their own voice. Like I've got multiple people on Discord who have told me like they can't do it. Like they physically can't listen to themselves. It sounds awful. Like they hate, like the sound of your voice coming back sounds different than it is in your head when you're saying stuff. And they can't stand the sound of their own voice coming back. They're like, nope, can't do it. Doesn't sound like me. So, or
not just listening to your own voice. I was lucky. I've done a lot of public speaking and stuff, so that wasn't difficult. I'm gonna shift here on the camera and show people, if you haven't done videos, this is what's hard, is remembering to like right there.
Look at the camera.
At the camera. Yeah. It does not feel natural. You'll catch yourself going back to the monitor to see if you look right, and you screw the whole thing up and the take is gone.
Yep. Yeah. And people really, actually notice. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Like I was going to say, for people will notice that in my own videos, because I look down at the screen at me all the time, and I try to remember to look back. That is something that I've genuinely watched tutorials on how not to do, and I still do it. It is the hard. If you have a second monitor where OBS, where you can see yourself, is up, not looking at it is the hardest thing in the world. Even when you know I should be looking right here, and this is making eye contact with someone when I'm speaking to them. Like this should be the way that we do
look like we're talking to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like that's how it should be. But it is so unbelievably fucking difficult. Because I've got you here. I can look at you. I can look at both of you, and then I can look at OBS. I've got chat over here. So it's like, it's so, there's so much going on that it's really hard.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is. It's hard. You know, that's why, you know, like, especially like for me, I always forget to read the chat most of the time. So what I started doing recently is I migrated that window over and I covered Jesse's face with the chat. So that way,
there you go. That works.
So that way I could do it, or I cover mine, whichever one. It doesn't matter. But I just cover somebody's face in the room thing so that it's right in front of me. So I'm looking at the chat that way. But what I was going to ask is, do you remember your first video you ever made?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. Now my question is, on that first video that you made, how many times did you re-record it because you just felt awkward about how it looked or felt?
Do I have to be honest?
I'm going to be honest with mine. So
I re-recorded the video 9 times. I deleted the edited video that I came out with, re-edited, deleted that one, decided to scrap everything, redid the video 3 times, edited it, deleted it, edited again, then posted that. And that video I also deleted from my YouTube because it was terrible. So, yeah.
I am right on par with you. Only I re-recorded mine 25 times. 25 times, dude, because I was so critical of myself that I if I even slightly moved or I said more than 3 times, it was no good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it has to go. And so I got rid of it and did all that. 25 times. It was so embarrassing. And you want to know what it was on? Linux Mint. and and that is my first one. That is my first one. It's still there. I left it up on the final. Yeah, after the 26th time, I was like, you know what? Screw it, man. If I sink, I sink. I'm not meant to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not meant to do it.
That's probably the most important part, because most people record, I mean, dozens of times, and then just never post because it's not good enough. Like it's not good enough yet. And at some point, especially when it comes to your first video, you just got to send it. Like some people aren't going to like it. Some people are. And then some people are going to give you constructive feedback, and that's what you want. Just listen to it. Take people's advice. Like,
take your lumps. It's all love.
That was the other interesting. That was the other part that I thought, actually, most people, when you put all this hard work, determination, and just pride into making that first video, you think, I finally got something that's really decent, I like it, and then somebody comes up to you and says, damn, that's crap, you know, you could have done this better, you could have done that better. It's kind of like you for me, I was like, wow. And then I realized, you know what, man, they're actually right. You know what I'm saying? Being honest with yourself, man, that you can make it better. What has to be something that you got to be willing to accept, you know, when you're the face of something like that.
Yes, because for one, perfectionism will allow you to never start your channel. And then there's also the fact that if you try to make something perfect on YouTube, it doesn't matter, because you could make something completely perfect, and one or both of these things could happen to you. Nobody watches it. It never gets discovered. And then the other thing is, people could still just hate it. Like I've seen, like, I know you guys have seen the Linux Experiments channel. On his channel, you know how much work he puts into his. Anybody who's seen his fucking videos knows how much work he puts a ton of work into that channel. And there are still negative comments on his videos. And I've seen some complaining about the quality of his content, which that is insane to me.
Are you serious?
Yes. Like
quality.
Yeah.
Not quantity, because you can't even complain about that either.
No.
He puts out so much content. Quality?
Exactly.
I'm really stunned on that. Are you serious?
His content is some of the most polished, smooth Linux content on the internet.
Yes. He's probably one of the biggest channels for polished news that you can find. If you're interested in Linux, you like watching video content, man, his is top tier. It is great.
What I love best about his content is not only does he get what he's trying to talk about across in a very knowledgeable way, but I love how he also adds humor to it. You know what I'm saying? He puts humor into it, and he's able to meld the two together. It's just beautiful. That's why I'm like really stunned on his quality. That's insane. The level of work and the continuity that he has, and just the look and appearance and polish on it is just amazing.
Well, I mean,
people are like, that's still not good enough.
Yeah.
Who the heck are they?
The thing is like, when it comes to, like, people don't understand this. As a creator, you're extremely self-conscious of everything that you do, everything, and how people will take it. And yet at the same time, you have to like manage that because some people just are insane. Like some people are genuinely like, all right. I've had people complain about the lighting from my webcam in a video where the entire video was shot with me down in the corner in OBS where I am tiny. Like the video has nothing to do with me being there. It's all about what I'm doing in the screen. And I've had people be like, your webcam's too dark. Like
I have actually had that same complaint in my solution. My solution was take that away. I just totally turn off my camera.
Yeah. Well,
I don't even have myself in a corner.
But even then, it's the most ridiculous like argument to have now. But at the same time, though, you'll still be like, well, shit, I should probably fix my lighting in there. Like it's one of those things where like, it's not a good thing to let yourself get very self-conscious about stuff that doesn't like, there's some criticism that while it is constructive and it could benefit you, isn't really something that you need to worry about. Like it's not a problem. And that's really hard when you're beginning to figure out. Now, because we brought up the Linux experiment and everything, I do want to go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here.
Are we done? Are we ending the stream now?
Well, we are not ending the stream. Excuse me. Nobody jump out of the live stream. We are ending the recording for the podcast. So everyone over on YouTube, if you're watching this after the fact, well, you're not watching the live stream after the fact, but you're watching the recorded version up on YouTube. Just know, if you want to get the full live stream, what we're about to talk about now, which is going to be some pretty big, exciting stuff, you probably want to head on over to Patreon and get the access to it. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to press end, and thank you everybody for watching. It's been great having Alex and Jesse here. It's been great. Been awesome.
It's been a treat.
Hopefully we do this again before too long, because need to have you guys back.
I'm down anytime.
Yeah,
I'm down anytime, brother.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, so if you want to support the channel, do any of that stuff, go down, check out the Patreon. You'll get access to what we're talking about next. It's going to be great. Also, there's, the typical YouTube stuff I got to do. Don't forget to like, subscribe. And apparently Nate in chat said my own video editor hasn't been subscribed to the channel until he noticed when I said something earlier. So trust me, if you're not subscribed and you need to be, don't worry about it. I understand it happens to the best of us. So thank you guys for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
All right.